Hey everybody, it's Michael and Shelley, and as you go through life, you run into extraordinary people all the time. Sometimes you don't even realize it. Shelley and I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to run into two very extraordinary people, and we got a chance to sit down and talk with them. This is the beginning of a 3-part video series on that couple, their mission, and how not let obstacles stop you from your dreams and keep you from living the life that God meant you to be. So I hope you stay tuned for all 3 parts. This first part is, some of it may be hard to watch for some people, and I apologize for that, but some things need to be said, and stick with us, watch the video. Please like the video, share it out with your friends, leave us a comment if you have any questions or you want to know anything about this couple and their mission. We're happy to answer those for you. So here we go. Here comes the intro.
I'm Beth Chambers, and this is my husband.
I'm Bruce Chambers.
And we are the owners of Combat Cafe in Eustis, Florida.
And this is where we're sitting. You know, you don't see too many military-themed restaurants or military-themed businesses. You see a lot of businesses out there that have the, I would call it the almost mandatory "we support our troops" sign out front. But how are they supporting their troops outside of putting the sign on the door? You know, someone will offer a discount, some of them won't, but you guys seem to be taking this whole supporting the troops, and I'll call it supporting troops thing, because that seems what it is in society, to a different level, mainly because of your service in the Army, and thank you again for your service. We sat here and talked before we started rolling for a while, but I'm looking around at this place and it's all cool. I mean, from your Batman hanging off the bomb over here.
That's pretty new too.
Yeah, with, you know, you got the helicopter over here, and you got Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, American flags everywhere, the POW MIA flag on the seat there. Now, before we go into anything else, talk to me about that, and why is that there?
So this is here because a guest donated this to us.
Okay.
And we've had numerous things donated to us, but this specific individual donated this, and it was like perfect, and it fit perfectly on the chair.
Yeah, it's like it's made for it. It really does.
So
yeah.
it's this counter. It's kind of it's not all the way
Well, they're
finished.
not focusing on that.
Okay. But there's 6 counter chairs, and it's on our 6th counter chair, so C6. And C6 is like our, is our remembrance chair, so.
And people can sit there. Some people think they're not allowed. The only one you're not allowed to sit at is the fallen
Yeah, the
soldier
fallen
too.
soldiers. This one's, just to remembering, and then everybody can see it as well, type of thing.
We're lucky people donate a lot of things. A lot of these things that you see in there, like the bomb came from my brother, the Huey came from one of our customers who's the Air Force, and he also brought that plane, and then someone brought us that, and we just got a new sign too. People bring us really cool stuff.
During your Army, how many deployments did you do while you were on active duty?
Did 1 deployment to Iraq.
1 deployment to Iraq. And to not go into details, you definitely, you came home a different person than you went there with.
Yes. Yeah, it took me a while before I kind of I went through the changes or whatnot, but, basically going through a lot in a short amount of time, and then coming back and then being in garrison again, civilian, or integrating with civilian life again. It's like, we didn't have a lot of time to depress, I guess, or decompress. But I think that had a lot to do with it too, because I decompressed myself, and then it really didn't work out as well as it should have. So.
Back in the old days, we were talking off camera about in World War II vets and Korean War vets. See, those guys, they were on ships. They'd take them a couple of weeks or a month to get back home. So they had plenty of time to decompress, get in the fist fights, to get the adrenaline and aggression out of them before they get home. Yeah. Today, when somebody deploys, no matter where it is in the world, they're back within a day.
Oh yeah.
and they're back back home with the wife and the kids, or they're back at work the next day, it's almost like it doesn't happen, which, I think in my mind, that actually is what's causing the epidemic that we're seeing of, military members, suffering with PTSD, the unfortunately ever growing suicide rate among vets as well. It's just because they see so much, and then the next day they're looking at their kids or their babies. So
They want you to be robots, but you can't be a robot.
Right.
Like, you can't come back and just have that same mindset.
Yeah.
We all know it's just not.
Yeah, I think they've kind of figured out, like, what's going on, because they have all the numbers.
yeah. So talk to me about UCF Restores.
We endorse them. I mean, we don't, they don't pay us any money whatsoever. They've changed my life so much that we believe that we should let everybody know about it.
Yeah, we wear it on our sleeve. We have it on our tables.
It's my
promote
patch.
it as much as we can.
And my combat patch was the third ID patch, and the patch I wear now is my PTSD therapy patch that got me through where I needed to go. And then if anybody needs help, like that's a veteran, first responder, law enforcement dealing with the issues, PTSD and whatnot, they can go there. It's free of charge, and they can work on what's best. They can evaluate you, see what's really going on, and they can set you up with guidance for for therapy and whatnot.
Cool. And we're going to have a link in the description of the video to UCF Restores. It's a program we haven't heard of before, not living in Florida, but it just from hearing it from you the other day, it's a great program.
I was going to say, and UCF Restores, they do exposure therapy to, and like at the beginning when it first opened, he was only one of the 33rd recent candidate.
I don't know, it was like 36 or something.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's grown, it's been helpful, and the Army has, they've integrated it, so they actually use it
I think they got a $10 million grant.
Internally within a couple different bases. So they're able to help soldiers out, before they get,
to the point
blowing over. They can actually get help in in an area where they don't have to be overseen or whatnot, basically away from their leaders and everything, and they can get away and get help and then go back to the mission. So I wish I had that when I was in.
The military is getting a lot better. Of course, there's always still room for improvement, but they are way better than they were 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, et cetera. They're getting better, but just as anything else, the military is always behind. Whether it be equipment, that's why I always laugh when somebody says, "Oh, this is military grade, whatever." I'm like, I don't want to mess with that at all. It's probably going to blow up in my hands, and it's not even supposed to blow up. But so, why a restaurant? I guess the best question we go with now. What made you want to open up a restaurant?
So when I moved to Taveri, I've always worked at different, restaurants here and there since I was 16. Worked at drove for delivery for pizza places, made pizza, worked at a place called Gradino Subs and Grinders in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Anyways, but I've always done something with it. And then after the service, when I moved to Taveri's, the first job I got was Sunrise Grill. It was the third place that I stopped at, and I started the next day. And then I was there for 7 years. So I got a lot of experience there, and within that time, I was like, hey, I can do this. I could do more too. And when I was going through my therapy, they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I think I want to own my own business or own my own restaurant. And that's kind of that, because I was working at Sunrise Grill as I was going through the program, and it was because I knew by that time, and it was only a couple of years into it, that I could do it, and I wanted to do more. I asked the manager there, I was like, can you teach me how to do extra stuff? And then he didn't want to. He didn't want to teach me more than what I should know. And I was like, that's where things, that's why I just stayed focused, and I just kind of quietly learned and watched, and I took it all in. When I met Beth, she'd never even worked at a restaurant before. And then I was like, hey, why don't you be a server? Because I don't know what it was just something about it. That's what I enjoy doing, cooking and serving. And then I was like, you can do it. She's like, I'm kind of scared to do it, I think she said.
Probably you think I don't know, I don't talk to people. I'm a people person, so I can. But still, you don't know. That's a job that you're kind of like, oh. But yeah, I went to one place and they hired me, and then I was really probably good at it. Like, I like talking to people. I like, dealing, so.
And when I
so
was
we
at,
had our own things.
when I was at Sunrise Grill, it wasn't as open kitchen as it is here at Combat Cafe, but it was like a medium open kitchen, so you could still kind of see the guests, and you could still kind of mingle with them or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have guests that come in here that I used to cook for over there at Sunrise Grill type of thing.
Okay.
And it's a very small town, and that's pretty cool to be able to do that and know them and they're okay, But I saw a lot of veterans in there, so I'd always go out and I'd talk to them, and because I'm a veteran. Hey, you're a veteran, and then I learned that there's actually a lot of veterans around here in this community. And then like the more that I served, the more that I worked and cooked, and the more that I learned about more guys that were veterans, and they're just cool. And I sit and talk with them, and then I went to Cracker Barrel for a year before I did this operation, and same thing. I'm like in there talking to veterans, and I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, so this is what I wanted to do, or wanted to get to the point where I can own my own thing, but I had to do all this to get to it, so.
And he said for years, we're going to have a restaurant one day. It's going to be called Combat Cafe. I was like, okay. And I kept saying it. You put out into the universe, you speak on it,
Sure,
things happen. And we used to drive by this building, and he would say, this would be a good place for our restaurant one day. But it was the Huddle House, and it had been shut down for 7 years?
8
years,
almost
so
8, yeah.
It was like dilapidated, falling apart, like it was just an empty lot, and I'd be like, oh great, yeah, good spot. And so the location's great, it is a great, and so when we talked to his investor, our investor is a
yeah, he's an Army veteran. He was a major. He was medical Vietnam,
and the way we got in with him was his son went through UCF Restores.
Okay.
And then Bruce was basically their spokesperson for a little while, when it first started. And that's how you guys met. And he heard that, he wanted to do this. We met with him, and we kind of we made a menu. We kind of to show our, our ideas.
We had rough drafts rough draft of everything. We didn't have a business plan at that time.
We just had the menu. Like, this is what we knew how we wanted to do it. We knew we wanted to name things after, veterans, and we wanted, like Sergeant Greca, but we didn't have Vinny back then because we didn't. Well, maybe we did. Yeah, I think we probably did after Vinny's, and yeah.
We did the Oops Open
So we.